Washington in April thrummed with jubilation, news of Lee's surrender. Spread bells rang crowds, cheered bands paraded lanterns lit streets, soldiers thronged taverns, women waved flags, children danced in muddy avenues. City once tense under siege, now alive with victory, joy carried through every alley. People spoke of peace, reunion return of sons from war. Amid celebration, Abraham Lincoln moved with quiet weariness. He had borne burden 4 years, shoulders stooped, face carved by sorrow, yet eyes glimmered relief. For first time in long war, he spoke of future with calm. He told cabinet, night before he dreamt of ship, moving swiftly toward shore. He said, "We will finish work speedily now." His ministers noted unusual cheer in tone. On morning of April 14th, he met cabinet again. Spirits light, he spoke of plans for South reconstruction with mercy. Not vengeance, he urged. Leniency, said, malice toward none. Charity for all must guide policy. Even as radicals urged punishment, Lincoln insisted, healing only path forward. He told aides he wished to visit theater that evening, to ease mind after strain of years, war nearly done, peace within grasp. Through day he moved among offices, shaking hands, smiling, letters poured congratulations, newspapers praised leadership. Crowds gathered outside White House, cheering, calling him Father Abraham. He waved hat, laughed gently, thanked them, promising brighter days ahead. Afternoon he walked garden with wife Mary, spoke of plans travel, perhaps west, once term finished. He told her we must be happy now. After sorrow, she later said, never saw him more peaceful than that day. Evening came, carriage readied, invitation to Ford's Theater for play. Our American cousin Booth, famous actor, performed often there. That house known to President, he invited General Grant to accompany. Declined, chose to travel north instead, so Major Rathbone and Clara Harris joined presidential couple. Carriage rolled through streets, crowds waved, cheered as Lincoln passed. He smiled, raised hand, acknowledged. People saw tall figure relaxed, as if burden lifted at last. I stood among throng that night, watching lanterns glow along Pennsylvania Avenue. Soldiers, laughing merchants, selling sweets. Children chasing bands, playing fifes. I saw carriage pass President inside, gazing outward, face pale yet calm. Unaware fate. Minutes away, city rejoiced in victory, yet destiny prepared darkest blow. Ford's Theater stood bright with lanterns, crowd pressing inside for evening performance of comedy. Our American cousin, house-packed laughter, expected after weary years of war. Tickets sold out, ladies in silks, officers in uniforms, merchants, clerks, freedmen, all gathered, eager for joy, outside world forgotten. Musicians tuned instruments, gaslights hissed, chandeliers glowed, audience buzzed with cheer, sense of victory, nation reborn. Shortly after 8, carriage arrived, President Lincoln entered. With Mary Todd, Major Rathbone, and Clara Harris. Audience rose spontaneously, clapping. Cheering music struck. Hail to the chief. Lincoln bowed, smiling shyly. Tall frame stooped, yet dignity undeniable. He moved to decorated presidential box, draped flags shielded with bunting, waved to crowd, then sat beside wife. Audience resumed chatter, laughter, stage lights bright. Meanwhile, in shadows of theater, moved John Wilkes Booth, actor, handsome, charismatic, once beloved by same audience, now consumed by rage. He believed killing president. Avenge South spark new uprising. Though Confederacy collapsing, he dreamt of turning tide at one stroke. Booth knew theater well. Every hallway, door, passage, he prepared pistol derringer, knife concealed in coat. He waited in saloon nearby, drinking brandy, gathering nerve. At 10 past 10, he slipped through stage door, greeted by employees who knew him as actor, none suspicious. He moved silently up narrow staircase toward presidential box. Play unfolded. Comedy drawing laughter. Audience roared at punchlines. Actors striding across stage, oblivious to fate above. Booth paused behind door to box. Listened to crowd roar at line that always drew laughter. He knew moment noise. Cover shot. He readied pistol eyes burning with fanatic purpose. Knife gleamed hidden under coat. Gaslight flickered across determined face. Steps light, he opened door, silently entered box where President watched play. At precisely 10:30, Booth stepped through door into presidential box play. Reached line famed for laughter. Audience roared sound rose like wave masking. Small crack of pistol. Derringer fired once ball entered back of Lincoln's head. President slumped forward. Eyes closed, breath shallow. Mary screamed, piercing shrill. Major Rathbone leapt to seize intruder. Booth slashed long knife across his arm. Blood gushed. Rathbone staggered back. Audience stunned confusion. Instant, then Booth vaulted, railing, shouting. Sic semper tyrannis, thus always to tyrants. His voice rang through theater. Some swore he cried, South is avenged. Words mingled with gasps, shrieks, chaos. He landed awkwardly, spur-catching flag-draped box leg breaking with crack. Yet he rose, limped across stage, brandishing knife. Shouting theatrical gesture, he disappeared through wings out stage door, leaping to waiting horse galloping into night, pursued by shouts, never by bullets. Inside, box horror unfolded, Lincoln motionless, head fallen to side. Physicians rushed from audience climbing, rail examined wound, grim shaking heads. One declared mortal, nothing can be done. He still breathed faintly, pulse weak. Mary wept uncontrollably, clasping him, crying, my dear husband. Rathbone bleeding tried to calm her blood, soaking uniform. Clara Harris fainted at sight, scene of comedy transformed to nightmare. Audience panicked, some screamed, others prayed. Soldiers rushed stage shouting orders. Doctors called for stretcher. President carried carefully through theater, across street to boarding house. Peterson's placed on bed too tall, his legs bent at knees to fit. Doctors worked frantically, removing clot, easing breath. But bullet lodged deep behind eye, no hope whispered among them. They kept vigil through night, while nation held breath. Meanwhile Booth galloped into darkness, accomplices waiting. Conspirators had struck elsewhere. Secretary Seward attacked in his bed, near death Washington. In chaos, streets filled with soldiers, alarms, bells, crowds crying, rebellion renewed. Rumors swirled, conspirators everywhere, government paralyzed for moments. Before order restored, guards sealed city bridges. Patrolled cannon rolled into squares, yet assassin already beyond reach, racing into Maryland woods. Across street from theater, small brick boarding house, owned by William Peterson, became scene of nation's agony. President carried inside, laid upon narrow bed, two short legs drawn up awkwardly. Doctors gathered, probing wound, removing clot, easing pressure, yet all knew, hopeless. Bullet lodged, deep brain irretrievable. They kept vigil through night, applying mustard plasters, stimulants, artificial respiration. None availed. Mary remained near, overcome with grief. Servants' aides trying comfort her. She cried, he must live, God cannot take him now. Cabinet members summoned, arrived solemn faces. Stanton, Wells, Dennison gathered in cramped parlor. Lamps smoked air. Heavy silence broken only by groans of dying. President ministers prayed softly. Soldiers stood guard outside. Street thronged with citizens waiting through night. Some knelt in mud, singing hymns, others silent. Tears streaming. Torchlight flickered across faces, pale with dread. At dawn, April 15th, breath grew fainter. Pulse fluttered gasps. Shallow eyes never opened again. Family minister's cabinet gathered around bed. At 22 minutes past 7, doctor whispered he is gone. Stanton rose, eyes wet, declared, "Now he belongs to the ages." Words echoed through chamber, heavy as scripture. Silence fell, only sobs breaking it. Mary collapsed, carried from room. Soldiers bowed heads, some wept openly. Nation lost leader at moment of victory. News spread like wildfire. Bells tolled, crowds gathered in shock. People refused to believe, then grief overwhelmed. Cities draped black bunting. Flags lowered half-mast, churches filled with mourners. Pastors preached sermons of sorrow. Newspapers printed black borders. Headlines screamed, "President murdered." Nation plunged from triumph to tragedy in single night. In South, reactions mixed. Some rejoiced, others stunned. Many feared harsher terms, now that mercy voice silenced. Freedmen wailed openly, seeing father figure struck down. Soldiers in camps broke into tears. One wrote, "Never thought I could cry again yet. Now I do." Union men swore vengeance, hunt assassin without rest. Streets filled with soldiers, patrols guarding every corner. Washington became fortress cannons aimed outward, though enemy already defeated. As correspondent, I wrote, "Never such silence over multitude." War taught men to shout, fire, cheer, curse, but not to grieve together. Yet that day, whole republic wept from New England mills to western farms. People felt not only death of man, but hope of gentler peace. Now uncertain what course nation take without him,